how do you test with confidential data? This can be personal identifiable data like GDPR or other scenario where you want to have test cases that developers can run that do not contain the developer name or any other traceable information. And obviously this can also be applied if you want to do tests or create mappings using ChatGTP where you are not really sure about what data is persisted there. So in this example I'll show you how we can modify a test scenario to run with custom data. So here we have the normal mapping result that we want to make changing. To do this we simply go back to our test case here. And here in the test case we do have one that is called anonymized. Here we can select a sample input, and we have seen here we have the date that is being mocked with some random value multiplied by it. We have the seller we want to obfuscate. We just click on the seller, select one of the options we have here, and we will just use 3 or dots, and we can then see what is being used here. We also have an option to reuse some saved data that you have added, and then we also want to change the quantity here in the source document. So we will select the quantity here, we will multiply it by 10 till 20, 0 decimal points, and then we can see what type of values this will give. So this will give us a large way of modifying the data without us it gives us any data about how much we are actually selling this for. So over here we can see this expected output and the input document. Cool. So now we have done this, we create a new cloned test case here, and that means that we will need to create a new expected result, because based on this input we do not have any data for this. So we go back to our test cases here, and we can see that there's now a new message with the state of anonymized. We can then run it, and once we run it, it will take this data and it will then create a result. And this will fail because we don't really have any expected input for this. So it says here not compared, and that means because the actual the expected result is null, we will not receive any messages on this. So to do this, we simply just have to create it as a new test case, update and drop all messages for this. And now if we go back and run it again, we have an expected test message that will then perform differently than our original data that we already have. So let's see here, we can look at one of these. I think actually all of the documents are identical. So if we look at this diff here, we can see now that this icon number is different on both sides, both the expected and input document. If we find the original test case run here, so we did have this one was the original one. So we view the results here, and I think it is all the same we're seeing here. It is using 1, 2, 3, and here it is using some random value. And that also means that the other that we have here should have different values. And this just makes it a lot easier for you to go through and create random data, pass it through, see how all the interaction reacts. Thereby you have a solid way of creating test cases that can run always. Obviously you need to understand which fields you can modify without changing the full flow, etc. And that is a little more of an art. You need to go through the mappings and decide what makes sense. And obviously you as a developer need to consider, okay, so what is actually the confidential parts of this scenario and how can we modify it. But at least we make it really easy for you to get started with this. I hope you want to try it out, and obviously creating test cases with the Figaf tool is really easy. It's 1, 2, 3 click and you're getting started with creating test data in this smart way. So looking forward to see you try this. It is included in the free trial that you can set up and try in just about 20 minutes. So looking forward to hear your input on these scenarios. Thank you.